Okay. Let's see here. Okay, starting with the undead. I don't want Banfu versus Little Bling, that's for sure. So maybe, let's go for the stun. I'm considering, yeah, Banfu's actually really bad versus both of these two. Maybe I just bring him in now. I guess Trunks isn't very good versus Little Bling either, but at least he has Avalanche. It doesn't take strong damage. Hmm. Um. Let's go for Lucky Dance. Maybe I just go ahead and bring in Banfu. Because as long as I don't get stunned, I can go for a big heal here. He's going to give me my Beast Racial. Oh, huge heal. I'm full HP. That was a nice crit. It is 30% crit chance right now. And then Spirit Claws will kill him. Alright, that's a pretty good start. I'll go ahead and bring Gurgle back in. And now I can set up Lucky Dance for Trunks. Trunks is going to be really good versus the Flyer. Not so fantastic versus Little Bling. But Banfu's probably going to be worse. Who would I rather have versus the Flyer? I mean, honestly, probably just... I think I have to bring in Trunks here. Even though he's really good versus the Flyer, Banfu is just going to struggle so much versus Little Bling. And Gurgle's probably going to be fine versus the Flyer later on. So what I can do here is Moonfire. And then it's weak damage, but I think I can take out his... I need a crit. I do have a 30% crit chance. Maybe I'd just go for Avalanche. It's strong damage versus Mechanicals. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go for Avalanche here. Nice crit. Good job, Trunks. That was exactly who I needed to crit versus, because this Little Bling is a big problem for these two pets. And now, okay, I'm actually glad that he missed. That he didn't miss, because I did not want him to heal. Let's see. Feed does... Let's just bring in Gurgle. Banfu is slower than Little Bling. Now the question is, do I stun him or do I go for the high roll? I feel like I'm gonna get a low roll, so I'm gonna go for the stun to play it safe. And now I'm actually hoping that I low roll. Ah, dang it, he's saving Little Bling for later. Maybe I should... It's probably fine. Let's try to take out that flying racial. And he's gonna heal up a lot under Moonlight. Okay, unless he crits, I should probably be just fine here. Okay, he got a double. I should be in the clear. Let's go for a deep claw. If I get 2 high rolls, I can just kill him. And I don't have to worry about... Ooh, damn. Barely survived. I don't have to worry about Banfu versus Little Bling, because I can just clean up with Gurgle here. Alright. It's a little bit close, but had some good RNG with crits. That crit on Avalanche was very impactful. Okay, so what did he have? He had Little Bling, Random Flyer, and then the Undead. Let's look at teams here. So Vortex would be good versus Little Bling. Probably one of these two teams. Because I want a critter to take weak damage from the Undead. I think I like this team a little better. Coastal Bounder is not going to be great versus that Flyer, but I can take out his flying racial on the back line with Cyclone. I think this team would do fine versus him. Right. Let's see what we get. Oh. Well, that escalated quickly. Hmm. Is there any chance in the entire world that I ever beat him with this team? Like, not really. uh, I'll try. I'll see how it goes. It's not looking good for sure. Let me think about this. Do I go for Cyclone and then Thunderbolt, or do I just Cyclone and swap? I'm thinking Cyclone first. You know what would be cool is if his weather buffed my Cyclone duration by a turn, the way it does with turrets. I mean, that'd be a little bit OP, but that would be kind of cool. Alright, let's go for Thunderbolt. He's going to have to play really badly for me to have even the tiniest chance of beating him. Bring in our Coastal Bounder, go for Rain Dance. Anomalous is just cleaving my whole team down. Trying to do the same thing to him, but it's not really working out. Alright, let's go for Mudslide. That'll buff my Cyclone crits a little bit by 25%. I really need these Cyclones to land on Indigo. He has the HH Bone Serpent, so if he brings in that Bone Serpent... Alright, he's bringing in Indigo. That makes sense. Alright, let's sacrifice the Coastal Bounder here. He can't interrupt Cobbleshell. So let's go for... he's probably going to dodge, I would imagine. So if he dodges, I probably want to go for... I'm sure he's going to dodge. I'm going to go for Rock Barrage. Oh, he didn't dodge. Okay. Well, we landed 3, so that's pretty good. Let's go for a Stone Form. He pressed dodge finally, so I can heal while he's avoiding that damage. Cobbleshell's actually kind of giving this Indigo pet a little bit of trouble, but that Bone Serpent's just gonna destroy me. Let's see here. Do I go for Rock Barrage first or Toxic Smoke? I can do more damage with Rock Barrage if I get lucky. I wonder, does this guy run Liftoff or Death and Decay? There's a lot of Bone Serpents that randomly run Death and Decay for some reason. Gonna bring in Vortex here. He does have Death and Decay. So I can Thunderbolt. I won't miss. And he might be able to kill No, he's gonna have to use Bone Barrage to kill me. Looks like I got him. Not sure how. Cobbleshell's just... he absolutely carried. Like, very hard. I don't know why he runs Death and Decay. Liftoff is just so much better. Okay. So if I get a rematch versus that guy, probably need like a specific type of counter team if I wanted a good chance to beat him, because I don't really think that this team should generally beat him. I think I probably got lucky with my Cyclone landing, and I don't know why he didn't dodge right away on Indigo. He waited until he took a lot of damage. Maybe he thought that I thought he would dodge. Anyways, so he has Indigo, he has Anomalous, and then a Bone Serpent. Indigo and Anomalous can kind of carry an Alec plushie. It doesn't really matter what the third is, but the most popular three are the Gorm Root Stinger and the Living Sandling and the Bone Serpent. I don't have a team specifically dedicated to the Bone Serpent version yet. I don't think. I'm seeing Gorm, I'm seeing Living Sandling. Yeah. The two most annoying are probably the Living Sandling and the Gorm Root Stinger. I'd say the Living Sandling's the most annoying because Sandstorm's so overpowered. But if I can beat the Living Sandling, I can probably beat the Bone Serpent. So this team might be able to beat him. It would not beat the Living Sandling, that's for sure. MPD's not going to be very useful versus the Bone Serpent. Got the Alpine Foxling, Snarly, and the Fell-Afflicted Skyfin. So I like Snarly and the Alpine Foxling versus Indigo a lot because of Surge and Dazzling Dance. Fell-Afflicted Skyfin can be a problem for Anomalous. I feel pretty good about this team if I get a rematch versus him. Because Alpine Foxling's really good versus Indigo and the Bone Serpent. He's alright versus Anomalous too. I think, from what I'm seeing here, I would probably either pick this team, or if I just wanted to go like all out try hard mode, I could just play triple Sandstorm. And like a team like this is probably gonna win like 95% of the time versus a team like this, like his, because the Primal Stormling's like a fantastic Anomalous counter. And then these two are good versus Indigo, because you have the Flyer taking weak damage from Indigo's attacks, and then the Pale Shell Crab. I'm running the Power with Surge. Priority move abilities like Surge or Quick Attack, those are really good versus Indigo because he's kind of a bully pet. He depends on going faster, and as soon as you outspeed him, that's the best way to beat him. I mean, I got a little bit lucky having the healing on Copple Shell, but I feel like he kind of misplayed going for the attack instead of the dodge. Maybe he thought that I would heal, and that's why he went for the attack. I don't know why I would have healed there. It would not have won me the game, but yeah. Anyways, I'm liking this team a little bit. Trying to see if there's anything else I like better. Trying to think if this team would have much of a chance. I think Alpine Foxling's a good pick. The only problem with this team is if I queue into one idle, I pretty much auto lose. Because I have no Weather Changer, and I have the Alpine Foxling, who's really bad versus Sandstorm Humanoids. But I feel like I might get a rematch versus that same player. And I like this matchup if I get him. Okay, so we got a rematch. Generally, I want to start with the Fell-Afflicted Skyfin. The Skyfin's really good versus this combo, Anomalous and Indigo, because of the flying racial. You can dot up Anomalous, you can swap him out. There's a lot of mind games that can happen, but if you win the mind games, you're going to be very far ahead with the Skyfin. He went for Poison Protocol. I wonder, is he gonna juke here? No juke. Okay, that's good. So now I can try to dot up Anomalous. I'm fine with dotting up that Bone Serpent. Or not Anomalous, Indigo. Okay, let's go for Wild Magic here. Ooh, that crit sucks. Oh, but he's the HH, so I still get out another Fell Immolate before I die. I disagree with running Death and Decay first of all, and I also don't think I agree with running the HH. I think you want either the Power Speed or the SS. I think SS probably generally, unless I run the Power Speed if I'm trying to counter specific teams. Like I know that the speed is kind of irrelevant. I guess HH is okay. Now, do I go for Crouch? I think so. He has a dot rolling, so if I can tank some damage here. Now the question is, does he bring an Indigo? He might. I'm gonna go for a Flurry in case he stays in. There was a possibility he brought an Indigo, and that could put me a little bit behind. But if he stayed in, then what I wanted to do is take out his Undead Racial, throw up Dazzling Dance on his Undead Racial, and now I should be in a pretty good spot to win this 2v2. The only thing that could really put me very far behind is a 10% miss here. And even then, I'm feeling good about my chances with Snarly versus Indigo. Oh, and he's saving Anomalous for the end. Yeah, I don't know about that play. I think he should have brought an Anomalous while he has the 10% chance for me to miss and go for like a Poison Protocol. Because now I got a big Beast Racial Flurry into Indigo. A couple Surges ought to get the job done. And I'm taking weak damage on my Aquatic once he comes in. Actually, it looks like I just 2-pet him with Alpine Foxling and Fell Afflicted Skyfin. But that isn't necessarily how this matchup will always go. Because if he jukes, Wing Buffet brings in the lowest health pet, which will be Anomalous. So he could have juked and put himself back in a winning position in the start. And I think it was pretty readable that I was going to go for the swap. Ooh, ding. Let's pick a talent. I think it was fairly readable that I was going to go for the swap. It would be very weird for me to go for Wild Magic against Anomalous or even refreshing Fell Immolate. The only reason I would go for the refresh is if I predicted that he would swap and I tried to dot whoever he jukes into, right? So that's kind of a mind game. But then after that, him staying in on the Bone Serpent, I think was a bad decision. I think he should run the SS probably with Liftoff. And then he should have saved his Bone Serpent for later, because he could maybe like crit me with the Darkness and have yeah, anyways. I'm going to put together some teams to specifically counter that version of Anomalous and Indigo. But it's a hard team to beat. Probably your best bet if you just want to like a strong team to hard counter it is like either the Primal Stormling, Shore Butterfly, and then like a Surge pet of some sort, like the Pale Shell Crab. I'm running the Power with Surge because, and with Bubble, you can probably 1v1 Indigo a lot of the time. Or maybe the Void Scarred Anubisath instead of the Aquatic. And I'm running this guy because he has the magic attack, so you aren't weak to Indigo if you end up in a 1v1 later on. But if you don't want to play triple Sandstorm, one of the best pets is the Skyfin. Skyfin's fantastic versus the combo of Indigo and Anomalous. And And then if they aren't playing the Living Sandling, like a team like this is a little bit of a meme team that can actually beat him. Very similar to that Cobbleshell game. His team's a little bit low HP, especially the Anomalous and the Indigo. So you can actually counter AoE it. And then with Temporal Anomaly, this last pet will be faster than Indigo. But if he swapped the Bone Serpent to the Living Sandling, obviously Clone Dance is not going to work out very well versus a Sandstorm pet. So I feel like I've been seeing this version of this team a lot more. It doesn't really matter what you run on as the third. I know Discodoggy has a version with the Scourged Whelpling that I'm sure has like a 95% win rate. This combo is just very difficult to beat, and it's because Anomalous has an inflated attack power. He should not have 362. I think they should nerf. I feel like they should leave his abilities and then nerf his attack power down to like 325 or even like 305 or something. And that would make him way more balanced and less overpowered, because the way that this combo works is you just erase half of your opponent's team's health in 2 abilities with either Toxic Fumes Poison Protocol or Void Nova Poison Protocol. And then Indigo just comes in and sweeps because he has very high speed. And very few pets can 1v1 Indigo. The only ones that have like a fighting chance are ones like Surge pets or Quick Attack pets or, priority move type abilities. Because there's very few pets that can outspeed him. And those pets that can, like say the Lost Quill, are just going to be 1 attack away from dying because of the OP AoE from Anomalous. And then, yeah, the Bone Serpent's just like, he's going to get value. He's one of those pets where even if you have like a strong counter like the Alpine Foxling, he's going to get work done because you can't use Decoy, you can't use Bubble, because Bone Barrage just rips through it. Call Darkness is overtuned. So, if you don't have Decoy or Bubble, you're going to have to take that Call Darkness to the face. Best case scenario, you're taking it on a beast pet like the Alpine Foxling, and even then, it's still going to... He's basically going to trade the Bone Serpent for your Alpine Foxling in most situations. I don't know why he runs Death and Decay. I feel like Liftoff is far superior, but even with Death and Decay, it's just a very difficult combo to beat. So I'm gonna theory craft some counter teams specifically for that guy. Some of these teams will work, but they're not really designed for this variant of the team. What else would do well versus him? Maybe my own Anomalous? Because like I said, AoE is kind of a problem for him, so if I started with Anomalous, I could match his AoE with Void Nova Poison Protocol, bring in Tinytron, who has nice health, get another Poison Protocol out, and I'd be taking advantage of his own weather. And then I would just depend on the Cave Crab here to clean up, which is a little bit awkward because I have a speed tie versus that HH Bone Serpent, and his Bone Barrage breaks my bubble, but this team might beat him. I'm not confident. I might try that out later. It's kind of a meme counter team. I know Discodoggy has a team very similar to this with he runs the Vengeful Porcupet instead of this Otter. And so that's a good way to deal with Indigo because you can Powerball and outspeed him. And the Vengeful Porcupet's going to be pretty good versus the Bone Serpent. Not half bad, I guess, versus Anomalous because you'll outspeed him with 1 Powerball. I'm fairly sure. But I think it takes 3 Powerballs to outspeed Indigo. He's just so fast. So that's why you run like the Spirit Crab with Surge, and then you try to hopefully get a good opener with the Fell Afflicted Skyfin. That Skyfin is really good versus this combo a lot of the time. Even the Living Sandling version. If you win the mind games, This pet gets a lot of value value out because that swap hits for as much as the basic attacks and interrupts them, and then you have the dot on the back line. So yeah, if you have any ideas for fun counter teams for this comp, let me know. I'll try it out next time I spam queuing into it, because I'm sure if I queue up again right now, I'll probably queue into it. I'm going to call it, though, for now, because that's 3 solid wins, 3 decent games, and the queues are a little rough. All I'm queuing into are try-hard meta slave comps, so I'll take a little break, go take a nap, and then I'll queue some more later. And hopefully there's more fun teams queuing later on. So I'll see y'all in the next one.